With the Eight of Wands, it feels like there is someone that has a lot that they want to say to you, but they struggle with communication because when they are in your presence, they just open up in a way that is not usual or customary for them. They become so comfortable in your presence. It's like they're connecting with an old friend, even if this is a newer connection, someone you haven't had many interactions with. And it feels like even though it feels good to open up to you, they walk away from those interactions or have in the past feeling a bit self-conscious, almost like, why did I say all of that? Why did I open up so quickly? This is somebody that feels like you have this ability to kind of like melt their defenses. They see you as somebody that would make a great confidant. They feel that you are a very trustworthy person, but it feels like they're wrestling with some kind of energy inside that has kind of like in the past forced them to sort of like exercise discretion, to use tact when communicating with people. This may even be kind of like their strategy as far as like modern dating, texting, communicating on social media is concerned, kind of just like short, sweet, and to the point. But with you, they find themselves opening up, being very like talkative. And even though it feels really good in the moment, again, this is somebody that kind of in the aftermath of those interactions, of those conversations, they find themselves sort of wondering, like, who did I just become in that person's presence? Like, it feels exciting but dangerous at the same point in time. Kind of like, what if I let my heart kind of, rule the show in this circumstance? What if this is something where I gave into this passion? If I just kind of leapt before I looked and we ended up kind of like saying things or, having exchanges, making promises to one another, and I followed through on these things. And what if this connection progressed forward in a way that was not controlled by me, but was just very kind of like organic? Going with the flow, but things moving at a very rapid pace. So it feels like this is somebody that does want to have more with you, but they are really struggling to let go of some control issues. This is somebody who has wanted to control the narrative or has, kind of built that sort of persona to kind of protect their heart or to be just very like cautious or very discerning as far as like who they get involved with emotionally and romantically. They started off when they met you feeling very confident, sort of like, okay, I'm going to be the one that kind of determines the course of, our conversations and how much is expressed, how much is exchanged. But almost immediately they found themselves opening up to you or sharing things or kind of just kind of taking a stance inside of themselves of being very comfortable around you, which it feels like has sort of set off some alarm bells inside of themselves, like, whoa, wait a minute, I find myself not in control when I'm around this person. I find myself being, able to kind of like share very openly and to also receive what you have shared very openly, which is a good thing. But then there's a part of them that is sort of like, okay, this is different from the ways in which I had determined that I would set a course forward in my life in general, or as far as romance is concerned. It's like you connecting with them and it feeling so natural deviates from a plan where they were kind of like, I'm going to be the one in the power position. As far as love is concerned, I will decide when I let anyone in close. I will decide when I open up and share certain things about myself, if I do that. And with you, it was kind of like that plan was thrown out the window and they found themselves very in the midst of the moment on more than one occasion. So this is somebody, it feels like that they're trying to hold themselves back at this point in time because they almost don't trust themselves to talk to you, because it's like, I could just confess so much to you. We could kind of get in the heat of the moment, and sort of like words could lead to promises, could lead to exchanges. And even though that might turn out to be like a really good thing, I understand that I would be stepping forth without all those defenses, not in a position of control, but almost like fully surrendered to the potency, the chemistry, the magnetism between the two of you. And again, the sense of sort of like your energy just makes this person feel very comfortable, very safe in your presence. We also have the Queen of Wands. So this person's really attracted to the way in which you carry yourself, the way in which you express yourself, the way in which you might have even sort of held space for this person in a non-judgmental fashion while they opened up and expressed certain things. It's like you are that full package. You're checking off all the right boxes for them. This is really kind of an issue on their side of the equation, nothing having to do with you. So if you've been a bit confused because it seemed like things were going really well with the communication, but now this person is hesitating, it is only because they've kind of encountered some sort of like trigger inside of them of like, I feel like I'm losing control in this situation. I feel like I am ready to give my power over to you. You could either break my heart into a million pieces or lift me up into an experience of love and connection with another person that I haven't experienced in a long time, or maybe have never experienced before. And although they trust you, to take the lead in the situation, up to this point, or even kind of share control with them as far as this connection and what it evolves into, hopefully or potentially, there is something about kind of like this person had made a very determined promise to themselves, a promise that they've kept for quite some time, of just sort of like, I am the one in the position of power. I'm the one that remains very aloof. I'm the one that very like deliberately decides when I share certain things, personal information about myself, or even just kind of like take sort of an energetic stance of being very honest, very authentic, very much in the midst of the moment. But with you, that came on very quickly, very suddenly, very naturally. And before this person knew what happened, it was kind of like they shared aspects of themselves, or they let that guard down in such a way that they walked away from those experiences, those conversations, and those interactions. And they're like, who did I just become in that person's presence? Like, it's not a bad thing, but it's something that has just kind of like caught them by surprise. Yeah, we also have the Lovers. So it feels like this is something where this person is definitely talking to somebody else about this connection. They're trying to get advice. They're trying to get, kind of some words of wisdom. How do I proceed forward in this situation? What do I do? Because it feels like this is a trustworthy person. I feel really good in their presence. We're having a good time. These are good conversations. I don't know why I'm hesitant. I don't know why I'm scared. They're not giving any indicators that there's, something kind of that doesn't align with what's been presented. Like, everything that you've shown this person so far matches up with like what it is that you have described about yourself, what it is that you've demonstrated. Again, checks off all the right boxes for them. You present a very authentic energy where they know like what you see is what you get. And so there's a sense of like there shouldn't be anything to fear, but why are they so kind of like afraid of the fact that it feels so natural to open up? So there may be, another person or a group of people, like people that this person trusts, that kind of would understand and know sort of the motivation of why they have their guard up as far as connections are concerned, like a heartbreak from the past, or maybe this is somebody that's very like vulnerable, very sensitive. And so they've had to kind of create this adaptation within, so that it's kind of like their kindness isn't taken for weakness, or, so that they are kind of exercising control over situations rather than just kind of like giving into impulse and sort of getting carried away, ending up in circumstances, that move very quickly without really taking time to vet the situation out. That could have happened to them in the past. So like people in their life understand this very deliberate and cautious approach that they take to meeting new people in general, and certainly as far as romance is concerned. So there may even be kind of like other people that have eyes on you because of this person. They're checking the situation out, they're checking you out, and they're giving this person advice, kind of like, yeah, this seems like a very trustworthy situation. It seems like everything is above board in this circumstance. So maybe you are just afraid of kind of like getting what you want. Maybe you're afraid of wish fulfillment. Maybe this is a circumstance where it actually would be a good thing to let go of those control issues, loosen up, and kind of just go with the flow in this circumstance. So you have other people kind of like advocating for you and for the future potential between you and this person. They're trying to kind of like coach this person or coax this person into a place of sort of like, yeah, this may feel overwhelming. It may feel scary to be so vulnerable, to be so comfortable in someone's presence, but you've been guarded long enough. You took like a good approach of trying to use logic, not so much listening to passion or listening to the heart space, but whatever has happened in this situation, whatever has kind of, caused that guard of theirs to sort of drop without them really meaning it to. It feels like people that they've talked to, some of these people or most of these people are trying to sort of convince this person like that is not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is the kind of connection or the kind of person that you've been needing to encounter in order to step out of something where they almost like they've been looking for love, but they've also been like occupying sort of a wounded stance, like a wounded warrior. It's afraid to let anyone in, but also is kind of like seeking companionship, seeking to move beyond whatever that kind of like treacherous heartbreak was in the past that caused this person to sort of shield themselves against the potential of getting hurt again. And so they're getting a lot of encouragement to sort of trust in this, trust in their feelings, take things slowly, take baby steps in this situation, but to not run away, to not give into that energy of, being completely overwhelmed that they feel so comfortable with you. This is something where there may be people that are even trying to sort of help this person kind of reprogram that subconscious mind to not sort of fear beautiful things, to fear raw potential or like deep connection, but to really sort of address this and say, hey, this is kind of that blessing, this is that opportunity, maybe for something really good to happen romantically speaking, but this is not a situation where it feels like logic is going to, be the ingredient that kind of creates sort of the next circumstance between the two of you in a pleasant way. So these people are trying to encourage this person, to just sort of like relax, to, honor that sort of trepidation within, but to also push themselves outside of the comfort zone so that they don't miss this opportunity with you, and so that they are able to kind of progress forward towards you with optimism rather than the energy of skepticism and doubt. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.